Icebergs. At some point they appeared and flooded everything. I wanted to create a video myself about Minecraft icebergs. Searching the internet, I was able to find one from username robot748. It has over 300 entries. That's 9 iceberg levels and 49 pages of explanations. All links in the description as always. Of course, we'll start at the very top. Layer 0. Something that most people know, but it is difficult to start dismelting the iceberg without it. Portals to Nether are simply player-created structure that needs to be set on fire to activate the portal to Nether dimension. These structures can also be found throughout the overworld and the Nether, and come in different sizes. Through these portals, you can shorten the path, because 1 block in the Nether is equal 8 blocks of the overworld. The stronghold is an abandoned structure that is located underground. It comes in different sizes and consists of different rooms: the dungeon, the library, the altar room, the large room and the portal room. In the last one you can find a portal that will lead us to a new dimension, the end. There are many such structures in the world, but different portals will teleport you to the same place. Summoning the Wither. The Wither is a hidden boss in the game. He can only be summoned. There is just one hint and instruction on how to summon him in the game. This is a painting that goes by the name of the Wither. This boss is not friendly to any living entity in the game. It will kill all mobs and leave a Witheros at the place of their death. Jockeys are a unique kind of mobs in Minecraft. Basically, for jockeys are considered baby zombies and their variants that ride on a chicken. But there are others. Hoglin jockey is a few small piglins that ride on a small hoglin. Ravager jockey, pillager riding on the ravagers. Strider jockey, there may be different mobs, striders themselves or zombifying piglins. In the bedrock version of Minecraft there is even baby zombie jockeys. In all my life I've only encountered one of these ones. Quite a rare occurrence. Potion brewing is a special mechanic in the game that allows you to brew potion with different effects. Many players dismiss them, referring to the complexity and confusion in brewing, but in fact it was a very useful feature in the game. Poem of the End. The so-called final of Minecraft. It is the closing credits in the game that appear after defeating the Ender Dragon. This poem was written by Julian Gough, an Irish poet and musician. He was asked to do it by Notch, but eventually he didn't get paid for it. Well, part of it. After a while, Julian told the world about it and dedicated it to us, the players. So Poem of the End didn't belong to Microsoft, but to the regular players. Steve? Exactly, with a question mark. The thing is that when Notch was asked what the name of the main character in the game is, he answered Steve, so there was no official confirmation for quite some time. It was a joke tweet, but when Alex was announced in version 1.8, then on the official website in the skin model change section, the name Steve and Alex appeared next to the model name. Thus, the joke tweet became a canon. Music discs are an item placed in a jukebox that players tunes directly during gameplay, as opposite to music. Before version 1.17, all discs were written by the musician C418, but after 1.17 other composers appeared. So far 2 records have been written by Lina Rain, by Samuel Alberg and by Aaron Sheriff. Beacon is a block that in combination with the precious blocks can give various effects to the player. To activate it, you will need a pyramid-shaped multi-block structure. The power of the beacon depends proportionally on the number of the blocks in the pyramid. The maximum is 164 blocks. With this number the power radius reaches 50 blocks. Using colored glass you can paint the beam of the beacon. There are more than 12,326,391 color variants that you can get by combining different colored glass blocks. Conduit is a kind of relative of the beacon, but it is not so difficult to obtain. By the way, it doesn't have a selection of effects, instead it gives only one, or rather 3 in 1. If you build a complete structure of prismarine blocks, you can get infinite underwater breath, improved vision underwater and protection from sea monsters. Its range is from 32 to 92 blocks, even when it rains. Leather painting. Until version 1.20, this was the only armor customization option for the player. This is a very useful thing, especially for different servers and minigames. In total, we can get 5,713,438 leather armor painting options. Tezerwells is also a very strange and mysterious structure. It occurs very rarely. Until version 1.20, you could find water in it. Since 1.20, you can also find suspicious sand there. Its main feature is that even if you turn off the option to generate structures, the desert well is still generated. Dragon's breath is the clouds of purple smoke that appears after Ender Dragon shoots a fireball out of his mouth. It cannot be reflected like Gast's fireball. This breath can be obtained in empty bottle to create lingering potion from it in the future. Seasonal events are unusual days during which Java Minecraft changes the rules of the game a bit. On October the 31st, Halloween, all undead crawl out. All types of undead will wear a pumpkin on their head, which will protect them from the sun's rays and not let them burn to death. Only one splash will be visible in the main main menu. Oh, spooky. In winter, between December the 24th and the 26th, in the game, all chests except for the Ender chest will replace their texture with the Christmas textures and will look like warped presents. There will only be one splash in the game's menu: Merry Christmas. Sleeping in other dimensions. If you try to sleep in the Nether or the End, your bed will immediately explode and blocks will be consumed by fire. If the player dies after the explosion, they will receive the following message: player was killed by intentional game design. This also applies to the respawn anchor. It can only be used in the Nether. Faces in the Soul Sand. There are screaming faces on the texture of the Soul Sand, indicating that there are souls in the block itself. They also fly out of it if the player runs across the sand with boots enchanted for soul speed. The Soul Sand could indicate brutal sites of graveyards of long-gone civilizations, or simply a natural process that occurs when mobs die near the soul in the Nether, similar to the skulks that spread after the mob's death. Symbols in chiseled sandstone. There is nothing interesting or mysterious about the regular sandstone blocks, except for the lines on the sides. The red chiseled sandstone has a symbol of the Wither. On Reddit, user Yulioplerodon suggests that summoning the Wither is an ancient ritual that comes from the early inhabitants of the world of Minecraft. Additionally, 2 unused sandstone textures have been added in Java 1.2.1. One shows 4 symbols: creeper, an eye, most likely a snout, and a sort of villager's face. The second one has a diamond made up of stripes and 2 dots that looks like eyes. This texture look a lot like the new breeze mob that was added in a Tricky Trails update. Do you think it's a coincidence? The layer 0 is over. We are going to the first layer, already touching the beginning of the iceberg. Herobrine is the most popular, I wouldn't even say iconic creepypasta. It features Notch Dead Brother. The creepypasta was originally made up by an anonymous user posting it on the paranormal board 4chan. It was then picked up by streamer Copeland and popularized to the masses. So much so that even Mojang themselves use it as their mascot for a period. I went into more detail about Herobrine in a separate video. I suggest you check out the pop-up in the top right corner. Origins of the Creeper. At one time, Notch was designed a peak, but accidentally mixed up the width and the height of the body, thus creating a tall mob on 4 small legs. Notch was inspired by this strange model and went on to create the Creeper. Splitting the Caves and Cliffs update. Since the 1.17 update was quite massive, the studio decided to split it into 2 parts. The first contained all the blocks, items and mobs, and the second contained new surface and cave generation. The deep dark biome never made it into either part as promised. Instead, it became a part of Wild update. It was eventually reworked and improved. Archaeology mechanic faced the same fate, but it became part of the 1.20 update. Cave game was the first version of the game. It only had grass and cobble blocks, which Notch took from his old game called Ruby Dang. Unfortunately, this version was never made available to the public. The only thing left of it are the videos, which for some unknown reason are blocked in most countries. The game was called so only because it was created to test cave generation for another game. Microsoft's influence. On November 6, 2014, Xbox Game Studios acquired Mojang Studios and specifically Minecraft for $2.5 billion. After that, the decision was made to create a cross-platform game. The game became the Bedrock version. On October 21, 2020, developers announced that they were moving all Mojang accounts to Microsoft accounts. For this, each player received a unique cape. Anyone who doesn't do this will lose access to the game. Creepers are actually plants, is a very popular theory. Its essence is that creepers are plants, which is why they are green and when they explode they spread spores. The official mob storybook also supports this hypothesis, confirming that they spread spores. Also, the original creeper texture is just an edited and slightly cropped grass block texture. The Ender Dragon is actually female. After killing her, she leaves an egg around, thus confirming that she's female. We'll talk about her female name a bit later. The Farlands, a world generation bug that starts at 12.5 million blocks away from the spawn point. All this is due to the Perlin noise, with which the map generator creates world. The Farlands are of several types: Age of Farlands, Corner Farlands, Skygrid, and Stripelands. But most often it is said about the Age of Farlands. Also, various bugs have been observed there. In beta 1.8, the Farlands were removed due to the change in world generation, and in the full 1.8 version, a world border was added to the game instead. In the Bedrock edition, the Farlands existed until June the 23rd, 2021, after which only the Stripelands continued to exist. As of Bedrock edition 1.17, they have been removed completely. Secret room in the logo. In older console editions of Minecraft, there was a tutorial world where players learned the basic mechanics of the game. This changed with each new version. At one point was the logo of the game, inside which you could find everything from a chest of diamonds to a fully built portal to the Nether. Pink Ship. Sheep can appear in 6 different colors. Pink is just about the rarest color. The chance to meet such a sheep is 0.164%. You can also meet a baby pink sheep, but its chance is 0.0082%. Easter eggs with a name tag. If any mob is named Dinnerbone or Grom with a name tag, it will automatically turn them upside down. In addition, the chap tag will give a rainbow effect to each sheep, and Toast will make rabbits look like a missing rabbit of a friend of a user with the nickname Sizen420. There's also Johnny, which will turn the Vindicator into Psycho with an X. This is a reference to the 80s movie The Shining. Moving on to the second layer, we are already slowly diving underwater. Mob Vote in 2017 is the first event that took place back in Minecraft Earth on November 18th. 2017. 4 mobs were presented: Barnacle, Phantom, Great Hunger, Wildfire or Hovering Inferno. The winner was Phantom. Cat Vote in 2018. Not many people remember this, but the developers set up a little contest. While adding new cats to the game, they decided to add the 9th one by voting from the community. Everyone was able to submit an application from October 13th to November 12th, 2018. You would submit a picture of your cat or your friend's cat and it had a chance to make it into Minecraft. There were 3 finalists: Coco, Zach and Jelly. The cat of famous YouTuber Good Time with Scar. The poll was conducted on Twitter and Jolie won with 48.5% of the 56,683 votes. On January 5th, 2024, Scar posted on his YouTube community tab that his cat had passed away. She had lived for 7.5 years. Biome Vote in 2018. After the success of the first mob vote, the developers decided to organize a new one, but this time for a biome. They naturally modified it a bit because in addition to the change in the biome, a new mob also appeared. In total there were 3. Desert, where they will add palm trees, meerkats, as well as oasis. Taiga, where berries, campfires and foxes will appear. Savanna with new trees, baobabs, termites and ostriches. The taiga biome won in this vote, and in retrospect I like to say that Savanna would have been a great choice. Taiga was changed in version 1.14. Biome vote in 2019. After the biome vote in 2018, the developers didn't change the concept. Still had to vote on Twitter during the broadcast. 3 biomes were shown: Mesa, in which there will be tumbleweeds, a new water map and a new cactus type; swamps, which has mangrove trees, poets with chests and frogs; mountains that have goats, powder snow and a new mountain generation. There's no need to think and guess, the winner was the mountains. Unfortunately, all of the above appeared only in version 1.19. Mob Vote in 2020. This time they decided to move away from the concept of updating several things at once and went back to the basics. But instead of 4 mobs as before, there are just 3. Moonbloom, a mob from the long-dead game Minecraft Earth, should spawn in the flower forest and interact with bees. Ice Soldier, a mob from the game Minecraft Dungeons, that appears in the mountain biomes and creates ice clouds that throw the player. Glow Squid is also a Minecraft Earth mob that should appear in deep oceans and caves. Unfortunately, it has no dynamic light ability, only simulation. This time won the Glow Squid, a rather strange and not so interesting mob. Developers finalize it and it become more worthy. Mob Vote in 2021. There were 3 mobs as well. Glare is a grass mob. It is supposed to signal players of the approach darkness in which monsters may appear. The mob itself was not supposed to glow in any way. LA. We can already say that this is the opposite of Vex, because they looks like brothers. Initially this mob was to appear in the Nether update and it could be called Flame or Pixie. He ends up bringing items that he holds in his hands to place whether the music is playing. Copper Golem, a small mob that players will have to craft in Workbench. Its main task is to randomly press copper buttons. Like anything made of copper, the Copper Golem can oxidize, so it will need to be cleaned. In the end, the winner was LA. He was added in version 1.19. Also, this mob appeared in the game Minecraft Legends along with the golden version. LA can be found in the official Minecraft launcher as a loading screen. The 20W14 Infinity snapshot is the April Fool snapshot that was released in 2020. Think for a second, it added 2,147,483,647 new dimensions, which can be accessed by dropping a written book into the Nether portal. Out of this huge number of randomly generated dimensions, there are 44 that are considered as Easter eggs. Minecraft Plus is also April Fool's joke, but this time in not a snapshot, but a screensaver for your computer. They are all made in the style of Minecraft and are referenced to the Microsoft Plus set of screensavers for Windows XP. Minecraft 3D is the first version of Minecraft, also known as 3D Shareware version 1.34. In fact, it is not the very first version, it is also an April Fool's joke, but according to the developers themselves, it is a lost version of the game from 1994. It's all a joke, of course, and the version itself is reference to the game Doom. DOS textures. It's another joke from the developers for April 1st in 2018. This time they reworked the textures to match the old 8-bit games. As a result, the texture become very soapy, weird and funny. Minecraft digital leisure device. A fake advertisement for non-existent products from Mojang for the 1st April in 2017. It is a reference to the portable Game & Watch series of games. 1.RV Pre-1. An exclusive version of Minecraft which is also known as the trending update. A joke for the 1st of April in 2016. It added a lot of trendy things such as a USB block, it gives out a redstone signal, a smartwatch that tells time and counts the number of steps walked, and of course a virtual reality helmet, which includes a special shader. In them you can see the special texture of the signs. The Love and Hugs update 15W14A, a joke snapshot to version 1.10, which was released on April 1st, 2015. Players stopped taking damage, instead the love scale filled up, so you couldn't die. New mobs were added and the old ones like the Wither were reworked. They even created a secret minigame, the Sapper. To open it, you had to collect as many as 8 lines with love hearts. TAAVSRP, the Element Animation Villager Sound Resource Pack. For the 1st of April in 2014, the developers decided to make a villager apocalypse. All players' skins were changed to the skins of the villagers. The villagers themselves had slightly changed sounds, and the sounds in the game were created as if by the villagers. The next day on the channel Element Animation released a video in which the villagers apologized for messing up the previous day. Java Edition 2.0. Yes, such a version of Minecraft also exists. It is a fake, but at the same time official, because the developers released it on April 1st in 2013, but it was available only to YouTubers. Later, after April 1st, it was made available to all players. Minecraft is a game logo that can appear with a 0.01% chance. The chance is really low. In all 12 years of playing the game, I do not remember that I would get it. Also, if the game crashes, the crash window may tell you should try playing our sister game, Minecraft. Dimension order. Many players assume that dimensions have their own special layout. That is, there is the overworld, immediately below it is the nether, as it is very similar to the hell, but above the nether you can find the end world, as if considering that is a space. The official World Beyond poster depicts things differently. The nether at the bottom, the overworld above it, and the end world above it. But unfortunately, Dinnerborn reject these theories, saying they're all separate dimensions. Inspiration from Infiniminer. Infiniminer is an open source sandbox game released on April 29, 2009. It is what inspired Notch to create his own game. On Notch's official channel, a short gameplay was released with a description that reads, "This is very early test of an Infiniminer clone I'm working on." Ancient builders. One very long-held theory is that the lands of Minecraft used to be inhabited by an ancient civilization of advanced builders. It's not clear if they were humans or some other creatures. It was they who left behind a gigantic number of different buildings, showing their skills in conquering new corners of the world. They were so powerful that they destroyed the Piglin civilization, leaving only the destroying Bastions. Perhaps they used to live in the ancient city but disappeared at the end. Feeding parents with cookies. When parrots were first added to the game, they could be tamed with cookies, a reference to the phrase "Polly wants crackers." But in reality, chocolate is poison to parrots. The developers later changed the feeding mechanics by replacing the cookies with wheat seed, but if you give a cookie to a parrot, it will immediately die. Music disc 11 and 13. Disc 11 is broken, judging by its texture. If you put the disc on, you can hear creepy noises. The sound at the end is presumably either coming from the Enderman or just a scratch on a disc. Disc 13 likely contains the other half of the story, with the sounds of arrows being released and the creeper exploding at the end. More recently, there is also creepy disc number 5, which is relatively similar to the 2 previous records, except that it contains sounds from the new versions, with the warden catching up with the author at the end of the disc. Secret igloo basement. 50% of all igloos have a trapdoor leading to the basement, where you can find a kind of hint of how to cure a zombie inhabitant. Cave chickens. Sometimes deep in the caves you can find chickens. They appear there for a reason. The fact is that zombie jockeys can appear in the caves. In older versions of Minecraft, the main character in this tandem was a chicken, so she could jump into the hole into the size of a block, thereby sending a baby zombie to imminent death. Thus, the zombie jockey was turned into a regular chicken. In the new versions, the developers fixed this and gave control to the zombie. Herobrine is a Notch's dead brother. One very popular theory that Herobrine is a Notch's dead brother. Obviously, this is all complete nonsense. Notch doesn't have a brother and never had one. He had a sister named Anna, and she's quite alive, at least at the time of the scripting. Nether reactor. Previously, the old version of Minecraft Pocket Edition didn't have the familiar nether dimension. In order to get the nether blocks and meet the pigman zombies. Yes, there were no piglins in those days. So for all of this, you need a reactor. It had to be activated. Then a certain instruction would appear, within which a mini nether would form. A Zoglin is a zombified version of a regular Hoglin. You can meet him in nether. He can only appear if you can lure him to the overworld. There, after some time, it will begin to transform. They attack any mob, with the exception of creepers and other Zoglins. Sand speeds up sugarcane growth time, is one of the oldest myths associated with the game. It's all about the fact that sugarcane likes sand, but it can also be planted in regular dirt. Many people make the mistake of believing that they grow faster in sand. Education Edition is a special version of Minecraft that became available on November 1st, 2016. It is designed for educational institutions. This is the same Bedrock version with a slight difference. There are unique blocks, camera, board, chemical elements, mob agent, and many more. Some features from this edition have migrated to the regular Bedrock version. Ore near gravel, a very old myth comparable to the sand and sugarcane. The thing is, people used to think that ores were most often generated near gravel blocks. This was also a big misconception. However, in version 1.16 this myth was partially destroyed, because still the generation of some ores depend directly on gravel. This has been fixed with the new generation. Hermaphrodite mobs. In the game, fortunately or unfortunately, mobs have no gender. Basically, all of them have traits of both sexes, such as a cow. It has both udders and horns. Or, for example, a chicken that has a red bird like a rooster but still lays eggs. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You decide. Abandoned villages. In the Java version of Minecraft, abandoned villages can be generated with a chance of 2%. In Bedrock version, this chance is more like 25–30%. These villages are also called zombie villages. Spiderwebs are generated there, houses have no doors, and all the villagers have become zombies. Pimp Tower is a tower that consists of 4 blocks of gold and a block of obsidian, created by Gavin Free in his Achievement Hunter Let's Play. This tower was later used in the tutorial world of the Xbox 360 version. Peg.png, the official icon for the standard Minecraft resource pack in older versions. One YouTuber named Salk1 wondered what this world and the mountain that became the prototype for this image. No one, including the developers, didn't know or simply didn't remember what this world was. In the end, the Minecraft at Home team was able to find the seed and the mountain from the icon. Rubies were added in the snapshot for version 1.3.1. Originally, they were supposed to serve as currency for villagers, but they were eventually replaced with emeralds, citing that they already have red ore and it's a redstone. Portals to Nether are made for Endermen. The minimum size of a portal to Nether is 3x2 blocks. Endermen, on the other hand, are just 3 blocks tall. These mobs also have purple particles and they are able to teleport short distances, so there is a theory that there must have been portals for them. This relatively explains the hypothesis of why there are so many of them in the warp forest, the void beneath the overworld. If you dig down to the very last block, you will find bedrock, a block that cannot be destroyed without using bugs, all because of its negative durability. The void has no border, you can fall forever. Enchantment font. There is a special font for enchantments. You can see it just on enchantment table. It's a standard galactic font. It can be deciphered, but here are the names in no way related to enchantments, they just don't make sense. 10th anniversary. On May 17th, 2019, Minecraft turned 10 years old. To celebrate, Mojang released a web version of Minecraft Classic. They've discounted the purchase of Minecraft and created an unusual mod that even has a book signed by Herobrine himself. From May 17 to May 20th, 2019, all cakes in Minecraft had a number 10 in honor of the anniversary. Liquids. Every liquid in Minecraft has its own interaction with blocks. The same can be said about mixing. Water flows onto a block of lava, sort of cooling it down and creating obsidian. Lava does it differently. It flows vertically down and replaces water with stone. Once upon a time, lava could combine with redstone to create obsidian. This has unfortunately been removed. Instead, if lava flows through the soil, combining with the blue ice, we'll get a basalt. Zombie Villager's Curse. The player can cure a zombie villager by feeding it a golden apple, having first thrown a weakness potion at it. The cure time takes between 3 and 5 minutes. After curing, villagers give a large discount on their goods. Lightning transformation. When lightning hits villagers, they turn into witches, creepers into charged creepers, pigs into zombified piglins, and mushroom cows become brown mushroom cows, and vice versa. Harzchaki traps are a special event in the game that can happen during a thunderstorm. At first, a normal skeleton horse wandered around the world, but as soon as the player approaches it, lightning strikes and 4 riders appear. Perhaps this is a reference to the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse. The skeleton always have enchanted bows and helmets. Most often it happens on high difficulty during thunderstorms. World from the main menu. Until version 1.13, the aquatic update, the panorama from the main menu did not change, so all the same skillful people from the Minecraft at Home team were able to calculate the seed, version and even the location from where the developers took the screenshot. As a result, they found and are finding the rest of the panorama seeds in the main menu. Swamp and jungle villagers. Unfortunately, there is no unique villagers for the swamp and jungle biomes in the game. They are not generated there at all, but the developers still added the ability to customize the villager skins to match these two biomes. Illusionaire is an unused variant of the Illager, which can be summoned only with the help of command. He is able to create copies of himself as well as impose blindness on the player. The developers promised to make him a participant in raids. Killer Rabbit is an unusual mob that you could encounter. Killer Rabbit is an unusual mob that you could encounter in several snapshots before version 1.8. With a 0.01 chance, he could appear instead of a regular rabbit. Later, the possibility of natural spawn was removed, but it can still be summoned with a special command. This rabbit is an obvious reference to the British movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Creeper spreads potions. If you throw a normal potion on Creeper, no matter what type, after the explosion he will spread this potion. That is, it will turn from a regular potion into a lingering potion. Secret languages. The game has various meme and fun languages that are actively updated. Among them, there are pirate language, lolcat, Shakespearean English, inverted English, and many others. The Sky Dimension is one of the things that was supposed to appear in the Adventure Update Beta 1.8. This dimension was supposed to be an exact opposite of Nether, but this idea was abandoned, and instead of the Sky Dimension, we got the End Dimension. Skulk mobs. If a mob dies within 9 blocks of Skulk Catalyst, it creates new Skulk blocks that absorb experience. These blocks can be destroyed and collect experience for themselves. The origins of the paintings. There are 25 paintings in the game by Christopher Zetterstrand. These same paintings have their actual references that were painted by him. All other paintings were created by Mojang himself. Quaternions. When the player breaks an egg, a chick can hatch from it, but with a 1 in 256 chance, 4 chicks can hatch from that egg at once. Notch's Twitter. Notch has very often resorted to unconventional statements on various topics in his tweets. After that, he was not even invited to the celebration of the 10th anniversary of Minecraft. Once he even begged to delete his account. He fulfilled his promise, but after a couple of days, he still restored it. Order of the Stone. After the name Cave Game, Notch decided to rename the game and choose to call it Minecraft Order of the Stone. This was a reference to the webcomic Order of the Stick. He later shortened the name to Minecraft, but Order of the Stone was the basis for the building team from the game Minecraft Story Mode. The truth about ghast sounds. C418 confirmed that the sound of ghast screaming is actually an edited recording of his favorite cat, who makes the noise when disturbed. Deleted splashes. Many different splashes were deleted throughout the history of the game. Often they were either old or very controversial. For example, the Better Than Prey splash was referenced to the 2006 Prey game, but it was removed as Bethesda released a game with the same title in 2017. After Notch's remarks on Twitter, all the splashes that linked to it were deleted. Green blood zombie pigmen. Originally, zombie pigmen were supposed to have red blood. The author of the texture Zophobia drew exactly the red texture. It was later replaced with a green one, most likely due to age restrictions. The brown mushroom cow is a variant of the red mushroom cow that was struck by lightning. It differs from the red one not only in the color, but also in the fact that using a bubble on it, we get a suspicious stew instead of mushroom soup. Also, by breeding 2 red cows, you can get a brown baby cow with a 1 in 1024 chance. Stampy Island tutorial world. In one of the tutorial worlds in the TU19CU7 version for the console edition, you can find a recreated island from the YouTuber's Stampy Let's Play. Nether Chicken Riders. A baby zombie piglin has a 5% chance of riding a chicken when it appears, meaning that every zombie piglin has a 0.25% chance of becoming a jockey when spawning naturally. This is the only way to naturally spawn chickens in the Nether. Turtle Bowl. If a turtle is struck by lightning, it will leave a single bowl when it dies. Netherrack is made of flesh. The theory is that the Netherrack is made of pure flesh. This is likely given how similar it is to muscle tissue, and the fact that the Nether is already referenced to the Hell. Furthermore, the original name of the Netherrack was Bloodstone. This could mean that the Nether is the inside of one large decomposing super entity. Bedrock burning. The thing about bedrock is that the Netherrack can burn indefinitely in each of the 3 dimensions, while bedrock can only burn eternally in the End dimension. This is most likely done so that the fire of the bedrock will continue to burn after the crystals explode. We've moved to the 3rd layer. It's getting darker, but we can still see something. The locked chest was a feature that was added for April Fool's Day in 2011. You needed the Steve-Co supply crate key. This was a reference to the crates from the game Team Fortress 2. When players tried to buy the key, they were thrown to a fake website. When the players still tried to pay for the purchase, a Velociraptor would pop up. Gears. These were meant to be an object used in mechanisms like redstone. Gears could be placed on the walls. Herobrine's totem was a structure structure that consisted of 9 gold blocks, 4 redstone torches, and 1 netherrack. Legend had it that if you lit it, Herobrine would appear. None of this is true, of course. Maybe. How did we get here? A hidden achievement that requires the player to have as many as all existing effects applied at the same time. This is the most difficult achievement, and the player will receive 1000 experience points for completing it. Endermans are villagers of the Farlands. On July 13th, 2011, people on 4chan created a petition to rename Enderman to Farlanders as a reference to the Farlands. When Nudge saw this, he joked that instead of renaming the Enderman, he would rather rename the Farlands to End, and so the name for the new dimension was born. Super duper graphics pack. This graphics pack was announced at E3 in 2017. This pack was to be paid. It improved the game's graphics, shadows, water effects, lighting, and was primarily aimed to editions that did not use the Java engine of the game. On August 12, 2019, Mojang announced that they were discounting the development of the pack, stating that it was too ambitious and technically complex to implement it properly. Later that year, they created a new rendering engine calling it Render Dragon. With it, the developers were able to add RTX to the game. Abnormal Cactus. The Minecraft at Home team, known for their search for Minecraft seeds, decided not to stop there. So far, they were able to find a cactus that is 22 blocks tall, all because the map generator sometimes layering them on top of each other, so we can see abnormally tall cacti. By the way, this also works for sugarcane, but because it's not generated as often as a cacti, it is more difficult to find some abnormally tall sugarcane. Discontinued story mode development. Minecraft Story Mode is a kind of episodic series released by Telltale Games. Only 2 seasons were released, which is 13 episodes. Financial problems and lack of the large investors to finance the project led to the fact that on September 21st, 2018, Telltale Games began serious layoffs of employees and studio closures, and on October 11th of the same year, the company officially ceased to exist. In the current time, the company is back and kind of continues to work, but development of a new season is not underway. Chainmail Fire Armor. Now, chainmail armor can be obtained through the trade with villagers or found in the structures, but before 1.8 there was a creative recipe that allows you to get it by placing fire blocks in the workbench. Red Dragon. A mob that Notch wanted to add along with the Ender Dragon. He was also supposed to be a boss in the game. Dinnerbone, one of the developers, stated that he appeared in future updates, but the developers have no plans to add him yet. Stunned Enderman. If you keep looking at the Enderman eyes, he will not be able to move, thus you will have an advantage over this mob. Zombie Horse. This is an unused variant of the horse that was added in Minecraft 1.6.1 horse update. They, as well as the skeleton horses, do not sink underwater, all because of the fact that neither are already dead. Flying Machines. These are redstone mechanisms that use pistons, slime blocks, honey, and redstone blocks to create construct that can move through the sky indefinitely. Flying Grass. After adding a full-fledged grass block on May 26, 2011 in beta 1.6, grass blocks could often be found floating in the world, in the air, or on blocks. This bug was not fixed until May 19, 2021, 10 years later, in snapshot 21W20A. A luck potion is a potion that gives the player a luck effect that increases the chance of getting better items from the loot tables. Some players make the mistake of thinking that this is the same fortune that is on pickaxe. The effect of this luck only applies to fishing, improved loot from chests, and drops from mobs. Green Steve. A rather old but popular creepypasta that there is a Green Steve who attacks players in Desert Temple if they are not trapped with a TNT. The main thesis of the character's appearance is that the developer added him to the game's code against the others. This creepypasta gave birth to other Steves, Blue and Red. Missing texture block. In Java Edition, when the game detects a block with the incorrect ID, often as a result of switching between versions where blocks have been removed or not yet added, its texture is replaced with a purple and black checkboard pattern. Prior to Java 1.6.1, a block with a missing texture was simply white with a black missing texture label. In Bedrock Edition, these blocks also exist, but there is also a dirt block with a green update inscription on each side of the block. Item duping. Throughout the history of Minecraft, there have been many bugs in the game by which the player could duplicate items in the inventory. Almost every update appears duping, and the developers instantly try to fix it. A very popular dupe arrived in the Nether update. Then you could duplicate entire shulkers with items with the help of piglins. The ceiling of Nether is a super flat wall located right above the top layer of bedrock in Nether. While the bedrock cannot be destroyed without bugs, it can be climbed through using a ladder and ender pearls. Because there are no obstacles on the ceiling, players can travel long distances. Wololo is an Easter egg that is related to the Ewokers. It allows them to change the color of blue sheep to red after they shout Wololo. This is reference to the priest ability from the Age of Empires game, which allowed his army to gain control of an enemy unit and thus switch into his side. Enchanted Golden Apple recipe. When regular golden apple first appeared in the infdev version, they could be made from an apple surrounded by 8 gold blocks, and they produced some pretty powerful effects. In Java 1.1 they were significantly reduced and only 8 gold nuggets were required to make one. Players didn't like it and followed them by adding enchanting golden apples, which still had the same powerful effects and the old crafting recipe. After a while the recipe was removed in combat update, and enchanted apples can only be found in structures. Mushroom light. Brown mushrooms, as well as the dragon eggs, emit a small light of the first level, and the former become a source of light in infdev 0.31. In addition, blue ice originally also emitted light, but of the 4th level, although this was the case in the bedrock version. Later this was removed. Testificates. For a while in beta 1.9 pre-release, when villagers were added, the name Testificate appeared above their heads. The developers didn't know what to do with them or how to develop them further, but as a result, they are now villagers in the game with full functionality. Post-apocalyptic future is the theory that Steve is only survivor of a mutated wasteland, which is why there are so many undead creatures roaming in the world. The villagers are probably mutants too, forced to rebuild civilization from scratch after all technology was wiped out. Raspberry Pi Edition. The Raspberry Pi is a small computer used mainly for learning programming. Mojang has released a free version of Minecraft for it with the limited features, as it is based on the Alpha Pocket Edition, and with the standard player name of Steel P. The wax block is a texture that was added to the game files for snapshot 19W34A, along with a texture for an item called Crystallized Honey. Both textures were removed on October 16, 2019, with the developers claiming that they were accidentally added to the game files and were never intended to be used. Wax still became part of the game, but only its functionality was given to the honeycomb. Quiver, an unused item that was intended to hold multiple stacks of arrows in a single inventory slot. Only the texture of this item existed, but it too was removed in combat update. Super secret settings. Prior to version 1.9 there was a button in the option menu that allowed you to switch between 24 different types of graphical filters, some of which you could get by flying into certain mobs in a spectator mode. Minecraft is a 2D top-down version of Minecraft created by Notch in 2 days for the Ludum Dare competition in 2011. Visually, the game was something similar to earlier games in the Legend of Zelda series. The game is set on the several islands. By combining resources found in the game world, the player can create tools and weapons to make the task easier. The main goal of the game is to destroy the Air Wizard. Thanks Zophobia is an Easter egg in the old zombie pigment texture file that pays tribute to Zophobia, the creator of the mob, which originally contained red blood. Also, the texture files for the Guardian and Ancient Guardian had the word Jeb hidden in them. The Jeb and Thanks Zophobia signatures were removed in version 1.14, although the Japa and Surge signatures can still be found in the armor stand textures. Notch drops apples. Starting with infdev and up to 1.3.1, any player named Notch will drop an apple when killed, since it was only in pre-release 1.8 that apples could be found in the world, and even then only in the chest of the stronghold. This was the only way to get apples. The Zombie Giant is an unused mob that is essentially a 12-block tall zombie, meaning that the real giants once wandered in the world of Minecraft. Now it can be summoned with a special command, but unfortunately it does not have artificial intelligence, so after summoning, Zombie Giant will just stand still. Deleted or unused biomes. In the Java version, only 5 biomes were removed from the game: Tundra, Tropical Forest, Seasonal Forest, Ice Desert, Shrublands. In the Bedrock edition there are slightly more, 9 of them, but they are not deleted, but just unused. Legacy Frozen Ocean, Desert Lakes, Mountain Ages, Deep Warm Ocean, 4 kinds of hills, Weathered Plateau, 2 kinds of modified plateau, Mushroom Field Shore and Wooded Plateau. Babies riding zombies. In the Bedrock edition, zombie babies can ride not only chickens, but also other mobs starting from pigs and cows to adult zombies. Also, if the mob they were originally riding is killed, they can find a new mob to ride. Zombies drop feathers. Starting with the infdev through beta 1.8 pre-release, zombies would only leave feathers behind when they died. The reason for this was twofold. Knights didn't know what exactly they were supposed to drop, and chickens as a full-fledged mob hadn't been added yet. Endermites, parasites. Ender pearls may not be the eyes of the Enderman, but the eggs from which the larvae of Endermites hatch, so the pearls have a small chance of summoning them on a throw. These Endermites could infect the people who first traveled to End, causing the Enderman to appear. Mobs are afraid of cats. Originally, creepers were afraid of cats, but after 1.13, cats are now feared by phantoms. Why are phantoms and creepers afraid of cats? It's not clear, not at all. There is no explanation from the developers. Pigmen. Before we villagers appeared in Minecraft, user Mikli suggests using pigmen and a zombified variant to populate villages. Mikli received a unique cape called Beacon for his idea, but it was later removed as other peoples also asked for capes. Meta-inf, a security integrity measure added to Minecraft to make sure everything in the game files as it should be by comparing it to the meta-inf signature. Once upon a time, this file had to be deleted in order to install any mods, but later Forge and Fabric came along and started to deal with this problem. Gargamel, a world seed that exists from beta 1.3 through release 1.7.2, containing massive valleys and mountains at spawn. The name of the seed is a reference to the violin from the Smurfs. The seed became incredibly popular due to its breathtaking terrain, which could not be found so close to spawn in any other seeds. Enderman talking backwards. All the sounds an Enderman makes are actually recorded human voices, distorted by effects that are played backwards. You can hear hi, hello, what's up, what the, and look for the eye. Legacy Console ruins. Beneath the icebergs in Legacy Console Edition's aquatic tutorial world were the ruins of the previous tutorial world, where you can find a secret chest with a music disc. Funny enough, there were similar Easter eggs in the lobby of one minigame. The old lobby was hidden under the new lobby. Null. Another creepypasta that claimed Herobrine was actually trying to warn players about a much more dangerous threat, an all-black entity named Null. Entity 303 is a creepypasta about the former Mojang employee who was supposedly fired and wanted revenge. He hired a team of hackers to corrupt worlds and rename files, adding 303 to them as a marker. According to this story, the hacks affected 0.025% of all players. This creepypasta produced many spin-offs, including Entity 0. 3D Anaglyph, an option that applied a red-blue 3D filter to the screen, allowing the game to be played with 3D glasses. It was removed in version 1.13. I'll admit I've never played Minecraft with 3D glasses. Have you tried it? Write your impressions in the comments. Easter eggs in a crash log. At the top of the crash reports generated by the game, you can find various comments in the form of Easter eggs. The appearance of one of them depends on the system time in nanoseconds at which the crash occurred, sometime when closing. These same reports may show someone is closing me, when the user is actually trying to close the game window. MD3 models are a model format created by AD Software. Beast Boy, Steve, Black Steve, and Rana were MD3 models created by former Mojang artist Doug to use as a test during in-dev. Models from the game Quake were also used, as they too were in MD3 format. After Doug left, the models were removed, as was then used Minecraft logo concept he made. Minecon 2014 cancellation. Although it was announced on March 30th, 2014 that Minecon would be held in Europe, on August 21, Wubui announced that Minecon 2014 would be cancelled and instead be held in spring 2015. The reason for the cancellation are still unknown to this day. Here we're getting close to the fourth layer. It's getting a little uncomfortable with all this depth, especially for those with thalassophobia. Splash Missingna. If you delete all the words in the file splashes.txt, then in the main menu of Minecraft will be displayed only one splash, Missingna. However, in modern versions, this inscription has been removed and replaced with 0 with no break space. This is what is known as an unbroken space. The wordplay Missingna is a reference to a bug Pokemon that did not exist in the game but could still appear. Mob perspective filters. Players have the ability to see through the eyes of entities, including even armor stands. Some mobs can apply filters to your screen when you look through them. Enderman's vision inverts and slightly discolor colors. Creepers have a green tint, and spiders have 5 screens in place of each eye. Void fog. Prior to version 1.8, the void fog reduced the distance you could see, getting thicker the further you descended. Starting at level Y17, the fog was removed due to the performance issue on weak computers, but it would be nice if the developers would bring it back and add an option to enable it in the graphic settings. It was very beautiful and mysterious at the same time. Arbalistics is a hidden achievement that requires the player to kill 5 different mobs with a single crossbow shot. Axolotl Wardens. Inverting the colors for wardens, giving them light pink skin and dark pink horns, which is almost identical to color scheme used for axolotls. Hidden Splash. In the splashes.txt file, one line never appears in the game. It goes, this message will never appear in the menu. Weird, isn't it? Nautiluses are extinct. There are only Nautilus shells, but not the Nautiluses themselves. Where are they? Since Nautilus shells create powerful conduit in the combination with the herd of the sea, it is possible that these animals were exterminated by early civilization to the point of extinction. Villagers' eyes color. While most villagers and illagers have green eyes, vindicators have blue eyes and witches have purple eyes. Strongholds being abandoned. end. Strongholds are usually built to defend against attacks, so end portals used to be guarded and honored as a last bastion, perhaps by those who once lived in the desolated ancient cities, and then seems to have been abandoned. Warden may have been the guardian golem of these strongholds, which explains his name, as well as the color scheme matching the color of the portal frame to the end. A plausible theory as to why these structures were abandoned is that everyone involved simply moved to another dimension. Grassless dirt. The original version of coarse dirt that was added in 1.7.2, sharing the exact same texture as a regular dirt. It generated in mutated savanna biomes, originally called Savanna M. Grassless dirt was later replaced with the coarse dirt in 1.8. Pre-activated ender portals. In the portal rooms of a stronghold, each portal frame has a 10% chance of having an ender eye already inserted into it. With 12 frames in total, this means that each portal room has 1 in 1 trillion chance of being generated with all 12 eyes, thus activating it without player input. Brick pyramids, a 32-block tall pyramid added during in-depth development to experiment with the generated structures. These massive structures were generated at the same coordinates every time, regardless of the seed. I'll even say more, they were in hollow inside. It was a great source of red bricks. Spectrogram of Disc 11. If you put the audio of Music Disc 11 into spectrogram, you can see an image of Steve's head, as well as number 12418. This number is a composer's signature C418, as a C in hexadecimal equals 12. Spectrogram K14.ogg. Like on Disc 11, the K14 sound also has an image on it, but this time it is the iconic face of the creeper. Enderman distorted humans. The theory that humans don't exist in Minecraft world because they've all turned into Enderman. Perhaps this theory is supported by the reverse speech of Enderman as remnants of human language. However, how they become Enderman in the first place is another question. Perhaps they simply turned into them by being in the end, as the piglins do in the overworld. They could also have been warred by another mob, such as endermites, or simply mutated from eating too many horrors, forever gaining the ability to teleport at the cost of disfigured appearance. Monolith. Huge pillars extending to extreme heights that appears in-depth version as a terrain glitch due to a bug in the generator using Perlin noise. PC Gamer demo. Beta 1.3 demo that could be found in June 2011 print version of PC Gamer magazine. The demo lasted 5 days and included a giant PC Gamer logo made of wool, a bonus chest, a secret chest under the spawn containing 22 gunpowders, and cow texture with the PC Gamer logo. This version had a bug that allowed the players to continue interacting with the world even after the demo ended if they leveled up to Y89 or higher. Incurable zombies. The player can heal villager zombies, but there is no way to heal the regular zombies. They are probably too far gone to be cured, or maybe they were never alive in the first place. Moon phase effects. Certain moon phases can have a minor effects on mobs. The frequency of slimes appearing in swamps is proportional to the visibility of the moon, so slimes don't appear during a new moon, but they appear most often during a full moon. A fuller moon also increases the chances of skeletons and zombies picking up items and spawning with the weapons and armor, and increases the chances of spiders spawning with the effects such as invisibility. Finally, during a full moon, 50% of the cats that are born will be black. A large number of other ender dragons. The current ender dragon is the last member of its species, though when the player gets to the outer islands, on ender ships they may find other heads. This makes it possible to put forward the hypothesis that there were once many dragons in the end dimension, but they were all exterminated by an ancient civilization. Ender dragon enslaved enderman. A theory stating that the ender dragon is a ruthless dictator rather than the leader of the enderman. For example, there is initially no way out in the end. The player can enter the dimension, but until the dragon is defeated, they can't leave, having to die or potentially turn into enderman. Enderman originally had green eyes before being changed to purple eyes. It could be argued that in-game the reason for this change is due to the ender dragon controlling the enderman's mind, as the dragon was introduced into the game exactly 1 month after the eye color change. Additionally, by killing the dragon, the player gains the Free the End achievement, further proof that the endermen have been enslaved by the dragon's power. It's likely that the sounds of help in the warp forest is the result of endermen who have somehow gotten out of the end, and now are trying to find anyone who can end the suffering of their race. We'll talk about that a little later. Monsters under the bed. Before Minecraft 1.0, when mobs were first able to appear in dark areas, there was a chance that monsters would suddenly appear and wake you up for the rest of the night if your bed was in area that wasn't lit. This gave the impression that the monsters popped out from under your bed. It was an intentional feature, not a glitch, because even Notch joked that it happens. Rabbits scared the Revengers. When the Revengers first appeared, they would run away from any rabbits that were near them. This feature was removed in Next Snapshot. It was originally proposed that the Wardens would do exact opposite, trying to befriend the rabbits, but this idea was never realized. Human goat screams. In a YouTube video posted on the official Minecraft channel, it was revealed that the sounds made by goats in the game are 50 by 50 mix of real goat screams and human voices. Finding diamond by clay. Before version 1.18, you could find diamond ore by clay that was in water. To achieve this, you had to stand in the center, walk 2 blocks along the positive z-axis, and then dig down. Most often the players could dig down to diamonds. Finding diamonds by lapis lazuli. Only in version 1.17 the generation of lapis lazuli and diamond ore was connected. Going about 4 blocks north of the lapis lazuli vein and digging up or down, you could find diamonds with a 100% chance. Giant fossils. Underneath the desert, mangrove and common swamp biomes, you can find giant ancient skeletons made of bone blocks. They may have once belonged to dinosaurs or other giant beasts that wander the Minecraft world. Quantum chests are peculiar theory because a single chest block can hold 27 stacks or 1728 items in total. This is completely illogical. A chest can store multiple blocks inside it, despite being only 1 block in size. The only explanation for this is that the old chest led to some sort of quantum space. The Ender chest could have appeared as a result of the fact that previous civilizations, which we have discussed before, discovered this fact and exploited it to make the chest have the same quantum space. The end dimension is the asteroid belt. There is such a hypothesis, which says that if you look that there are many flying islands made of enderstone in the end, then there is a high probability that the end is on the asteroid belt. This hypothesis seems to be too far-fetched for me. The old stonecutter is a block that was added to Alpha Pocket Edition on January 2013 as a way to make stone blocks. Previously, they couldn't be crafted in Workbench due to the special Madis interface that was added to this version for player convenience. As soon as the developers implemented crafting in the Workbench, the stonecutter was removed from the game. Removed potion types. Before version 1.9, potion had the ability to lower the effect of the action. That is, adding a glowstone to a potion that has a long effect, it decreases its effect. The same worked with redstone, but it made the potion weaker. Ender Dragon names Jin. 12 years ago, when asked what Ender Dragon's name was, Notch answered Jin, also with a question mark. Bloodstone. When Notch first added a netherrack to the game, its name was Bloodstone. That was back in 2010. From time to time, Notch also referred to these blocks as a netherstone. Strange sounds in the mine are random sounds that the player hears in Minecraft after the game deems the right moment to freak out. However, cave sounds numbers 17 and 18 stands out from the rest, as they reproduce the sounds of 2 minecarts colliding, after which one of them goes off the rails and falls. The cave sound number 2, on the other hand, is described by some players as the sound of angels. Flying squids. An old bug where squids reach the surface of the water and keep rising up. Thus, it gave the impression that these creatures were flying through the air. Developers in a hurry tried to fix this bug, which led to the fact that all squids began to gather at the bottom of lakes and oceans. In the end, however, the developers fixed these bugs as well. Cult in the Woodland Mansion. The secret rooms of Woodland Mansion contain idols, a meeting room with a map, prison cells and fake end portal, indicating that the illagers have some sort of end goal. There is also a room with a light and dark blue wool, the same color as Steve's shirt and pants. A recipe for creating horse armor. Yes, this once existed in the game, but extremely few. In one of the snapshots before version 1.6.1, it was possible to create this armor. You needed 6 ingots of iron or gold or just diamonds, as well as wool. Why did the developers decide to remove it? Most likely because of the durability of the horse armor, because it is infinite, although leather horse armor player can't create. Ghasts aim at the player's camera. Once upon a time, ghasts would shoot fireballs at the camera instead of the player, making it easy to avoid their attacks by simply switching the third-person mode. Ancient debris these are petrified trees. The texture of the ancient debris appears to have bark on the sides and ruins on the top, suggesting that they are the petrified remains of some kind of sturdy ancient tree species. The texture could also just be blocks of columns from long forgotten buildings made by entirely of netherite. Milking squids. In some versions of Minecraft, squids could be milked with an empty bucket. The player receives a regular milk bucket. All this is due to the fact that the developers use the behavior of cows when creating squids. Guardians are mechanical creatures. There are many things that indicates that the guardians were most likely created by some other species. They have retractable spikes that make them look like sea mines. They are made of prismarine, shoot lasers from their eyes, and their sole purpose is to guard ocean monuments. The same species that created the guardians likely created the monuments as well. Furthermore, the official Mobstiarium confirms that the guardians are made up of mechanical parts. The modified jungle age is one of the rarest biome in the game, with the jungle biome bordering the Swamp Hills biome, while the Mushroom Islands makes up approximately 0.056% of the overworld. The modified jungle is only 0.00027% of the world. This biome was removed in version 1.18. Zombie virus. A theory stating that there is an airborne virus. It is based on the observation that nether mobs, such as piglin and hoglins, quickly become zombified simply by being in the overworld. Over time, varying degrees of natural immunity to the zombie virus has developed, and some people have discovered cures in safe, sheltered igloo bunkers. Not only can this explain how almost all humanity was wiped out so quickly while Steve remained perfectly fine, but it also explains why most villagers simply die when attacked by a zombie, rather than turning into one themselves, as they have evolved a resistance to zombification. Him.html is an old link that Copeland posted on his chat room after he sort of solved Herobrine. If you click on it, viewers saw Herobrine's face with black eyes and moving pupils. In addition to that, there was a set of letters. By connecting them, you could read a message about waking up, because we are all in a dream world. It's getting a little creepy and a little uncomfortable. What do you think? Are you okay? We're holding our breath because we're going down even deeper. We're on level 5. What exactly is this one hiding? Great tabby cat. In Bedrock Edition, there is a texture file for a great tabby cat. This texture is completely unused, and it is impossible to summon a cat with this texture. Snooper, a feature that Mojang used and continue to use to collect user data. It is used to be called just Snooper, now telemetry data collection. It was first introduced on July 23, 2012, with the option to opt out, but was disabled in 1.13 and removed completely in 1.14 to comply with the European Union GDPR privacy laws. However, telemetry was brought back in 1.18, the stated reason being to find the biggest problems in the game. It cannot be retracted. In-dev house. When players started in the in-dev version of Minecraft, their spawn always took place in 7x7 house made of mossy cobblestone, a block that could not be mined naturally at the time. These houses contained chests, and they were filled with every existing block in the game by stack. There used to be 99 items in a stack. In the later version, this chest was removed. The houses were now made of wooden planks and floor was made of stone. 12 Mark 40 Awesome is a joke drawn by Mojang developer Mark Watson, made in Paint and posted on Twitter on October 4th, 2012. It shows volcanoes with lava tubes. The caption "More are dragons", corals, fish-like mobs, and fish blocks. Corals and fish as a mob were added in Aquatic Update 1.13. Alpha Snow Worlds, or otherwise Winter Mod. It was a random map type that turned the entire world into a snowy world, technically acting as the first biome in Minecraft other than the usual plains. In addition to snowfall, there were frozen ocean and less frequent animals. Ruby Dunk is an unreleased game that Notch created before Minecraft, based on the game Drop Fortress. The name transcribed to Rubyland's dungeons. The grass and cobblestone texture from this game were later used in Minecraft, as Notch was trying to make a first-person version of the game. Chinese mob voting 2018. From September 7th to September 20th, 2018, Mojang held a poll in which Minecraft players from China choose their favorite national treasure to appear in the game. The choices were between the giant panda, alligator, golden monkey, white-tailed deer, and white dolphin. The giant panda won with 466,490 votes. It was announced about pandas at Minecon Earth on September 29th, 2018. Full block chests. When chests first appeared in in-depth on January 24th, 2010, they were a solid block. The block model was reduced in beta 1.8, September 9th, 2011, as a part of a sort of chest update. That also included opening animations, proper placement in rotation, and generation in mines and strongholds. Metis is short for Minecraft Advanced Touch Technology Interface System, the crafting system used in Alpha Pocket Edition. It was a block and item creation menu that is very similar to the Recite book in modern version of Minecraft. A grid of items shows what the player can make using the items in their inventory. Because there wasn't enough room in the crafting crafting menu to show all the items in the game, special blocks like the old stone cutter were added. Animal cruelty. Mojang refused to add the ability to ride dolphins, stating that this is animal cruelty, even though pigs have been ridden by players for years. Sharks won't appear in the game for roughly the same reason. One reason is Mojang thinks it will encourage people to believe how hostile these creatures are, though it even makes sense since all hostile mobs in the game are fantasy. Why Mojang doesn't want dolphin to be able to be ridden remains a mystery. Footprints is a protocol that was introduced in beta 1.5 but was never used. However, it could still be crafted with common blocks. The protocol was removed in version 1.13. Footprints, on the other hand, were immortalized in the voting update. After the player votes for them, they will appear in the game. Mountain seeds from skull painting. The terrain on the background of the skull and fire painting was actually taken from a real Minecraft world that was found by a user named Quinster on September 10th, 2020. The world was created before version 1.1.2, and there are two seeds for it at once. The Mugminer and Minecraft incident. The Mugminer, aka Ryan Holtz, was a developer at Mojang working on the rendering engine for Minecraft. After donating $500 to the Minecraft server administrator, the Mugminer joined the Minecraft server with the FTB modpack on December 18th, 2013, believing it to be an official server, and not getting the attention he deserved. He called all the moderators names and wrote some angry tweets about the situation, but later, after sorting out, he apologized. He got his money back as well. Ryan Holtz has not worked at Mojang since 2015. Concessions for China. Some people speculate that sharks are not being added to Minecraft and dolphins are not being made available to ride in order to placate China, as the Chinese river dolphin is critically endangered, and in 2011 China launched a massive campaign to raise awareness about the consumption of shark fins in an attempt to reduce the number of sharks being killed for their own fins. Along with the fact that Minecraft China is a free bedrock version of Minecraft with a whopping 300 million players, there are only 180 million paid copies in the rest of the world. It would make sense that Mojang would want to care about this player base. Content in this version of Minecraft is paid, though, so they make a lot of money. MCP Xperia Play. On August 16th, 2011, the first release of Minecraft Pocket Edition on Xperia Play via Google Play took place. The Android release didn't happen until October 7th, and Pocket Edition didn't release on iOS until November 17th. To celebrate, Sony Ericsson released a separate custom and limited edition Minecraft phone. Green shrubs are a type of dead bush added in version 1.5, with a green hue that changed its saturation depending on the biome. Green shrubs gradually disappeared starting in 1.8 and were completely removed in 1.13. Mars Effect is a hoax website created by Notch for April Fool's Day 2012. The name is intentionally a reference to Mass Effect, a game by BioWare. It was referenced to Bethesda, another video game company, suing Mojang for their previous game Scrolls, which had a similar name to the Elder Scrolls series of games. Mars Effect ended up being a real game with a different name than to the sea. Friends list. A feature in various Mojang games that was supposed to allow players to invite people to servers they created. Chris Jelbrink announced that he was working on the friends list for Scrolls back in June 2013. After the development was completed, this feature was supposed to appear in other games, but this feature never appeared in the Java edition. Rare Clay generation. In beta 1.6, clay was generated underwater only when X and Z coordinates matched, so it was often incredibly difficult to get. In-depth map customization. In-depth map generation gave players many map options. The long and deep map shapes made your world twice as long or twice as high, respectively. In addition to the regular map, you could create a hell map where all water was replaced by lava, a paradise map where beaches were larger and plants were more plentiful, and finally a forest map where trees grew much more frequently. Ravagers are mutated villagers. Ravagers share many traits with villagers in Minecraft, including green eyes, a solid eyebrow, and a tendency to make grunting noises. One theory is that pillagers take prisoners during raids to mutate them and turn them into killing machines. Ravagers can also be a modified version of iron golems, but when destroyed, they do not drop iron ingots. Snow QR code. The April Fool's Day 2015 update of Love and Hugs, near the X0 and Z0 coordinates, there is an area of land where the snow never falls on some blocks. This area eventually formed the shape of a QR code that when scanned read Minecraft 1.9 Combat Update, which at the time was a teaser for the upcoming update. Portal activation patterns. All portals in Minecraft work the same way, a ring of solid material that is affected by heat. The portal to Nether is made of obsidian and requires the use of a lighter, while the portals to End are made of frames and sit above a pit of lava. Even the gateway portal in the End is made of bedrock and is activated after blasting the Ender Dragon. Infinite Lava Source. In the in-depth version, a block called Infinite Lava Source as well as Infinite Water Source has been added to the player's inventory as well as chests in the house. These blocks can extend infinitely in all directions except upwards. If not limited, the blocks can spread in large volumes. Droopy Likes Your Face. A song by C418 from the album Alpha Minecraft with a strange audio sample examples, taken from the text reader from Texas Instruments called the Magic Wand Speak and Learn, which could scan barcodes and read aloud some children's books, including a book called The Droopy Dragon. Ashes to Ashes is a creepypasta with 2 files apparently found in unused folder during 2010 Halloween update, ashes1ashes.ogg and ashes2ashes.ogg. The former file only has clicks, while the latter appears to hear a person crying. Isometric screenshots. In in-depth version of Minecraft, pressing the F7 key allowed you to take an isometric screenshot of the map, displaying the mobs and any changes made to the world. However, there were a couple bugs with this. For example, the player was only rendered if you were previously in third-person mode, and blocks were only rendered if they were in your field of view. Nothing to solve. In the dimension Llamas in the Infinite update, next to the portal behind the wall hidden a secret chest with a book called Book, the author of which is developer. It says the following: nothing to solve. By throwing this book into the portal, the player enters to this dimension. But this dimension seems purely random. Zero tick farms were a bug that allowed the redstone signal to turn on and off in same tick. This could be used to create farms. Minecraft's code for crops had one routine that both determined when to move to next growth stage, and also checked if the block underneath was a dirt. If you used a zero tick piston to constantly move dirt blocks under these crops, the check procedure was executed, but it also cheated the game by forcing the next growth stage, allowing for incredibly fast farms. The bug related to crop growth has been fixed, but the mechanisms still work. Shadow seeds. All Java seeds have a shadow or kind of doppelganger, which is exactly the same by a map, but differs in terrain generation and location of structures. Wool armor. In in-depth, before leather armor was available, armor could be made from wool. The texture for this set of armor was taken from the one of Notch's early game, called Legend of the Chambered. 72 Daka accounts. There used to be 72 accounts with the same name Daka. However, all of them but one have been deleted. One theory is that Daka stands for Dev Account Quality Assurance, although there is no official explanation. Fluff.png. A fluffy texture that was supposed to be used for clouds in InfDev, but was removed in an early alpha. Lapis Lazuli statues. Lapis Lazuli blocks can be found inside the Woodland Mansion, specifically in the statue of the head of the Illagers. What exactly this statue were created for, the developers did not give an answer. Alpha 1.1.1 is the 10th and latest version of the secret update, released by Notch on September 18th, 2010, while the previous 9 updates were released on Fridays. This update was released on a Saturday. The update added sneaking, fishing rods, and new painting to the game. It was only available for 205 minutes. Then a bug was discovered that caused the screen to turn gray when gamma and contrast values were set to 0. Notch fixed it in Alpha 1.1.2. Minecraft 4K is a version of Minecraft created in December 2009 for the Java 4K competition, which asked programmers to create a game that took up only 4 kilobytes of data. By compression, the Java edition in its current state is approximately 600 megabytes, not including user worlds. In this version, there is only 6 blocks: grass, dirt, stone, bricks, leaves, and wood. The Southeast rule, also known as ZX rule, is an unintentional mechanic in which various effects related to the size of the world, especially at the southeast direction. When building an intersection out of rails, the center block will always face south or east. Mob spawned via console, summon egg, monster spawner, or breeding always face south. TNT guns tend to shoot further if facing west or south. When the player first lowers the world, they always face south. Isn't that strange? Exploding arrows. In the 2012 documentary Minecraft: The Story of Mojang, Notch demonstrated his ability to debug Minecraft code and play the game at the same time. In the same scene, he managed to add exploding arrows to the code for fun. Such arrows are not planned to be added to the game, although such arrows have already partially appeared thanks to the ability to shoot fireworks rockets from crossbows. Origin of Elytras. Elytras are the front modified pair of wings of beetles and some bugs, covering the hind wings folded on their backs. It is conceivable that wings in Minecraft could have rotted away due to their fragility, leaving only the outer shell. Phantoms may be an evolved version, or at least descended, of the beetles from which Elytras evolved, as the wings can be reconstructed using the Phantom's membranes. Banana.ogg. In the Prima April 2020 update, there is a file called banananana.ogg, which is a high-pitched version of sound used in Mojang's splash screen. It is located in the folder called Nothing to See Here, Move Along. Vexes are corrupted allies. Allies are legless, blue spirit-like mobs that are incredibly similar to Vexes, right down to the texture of their wings. The only major difference is that allies are passive while Vexes are hostile. It can be assumed that the Vexes are the result of evokers corrupting and enslaving the allies for their own selfish purposes. There is a reason they can be found in the Woodland Mansion prison. Stabby Max Stabface. In the Isolation Dimension of Infinity update, there lives one villager named Bob and his 3 dogs, with colors of each of the 3 RGB colors. In front of his house are signs that read "Ingen reklam tak", translated from Swedish as "no advertising", and "get out". In a secret chest under his house lies rotten flesh, bones, and a stabby maxed up face sword. This suggests that Bob may have used this sword to kill someone and bury their remains. Now, however, he is forced to hide in this dimension. Unused chair texture. Natchez Old Block said he was going to add chairs to Minecraft along with doors, stairs, and signs. 2 chair textures were added to the files, for side and front views. After a few months, this texture was removed. Skis.png is a texture of pair of skis that was added in update 1.4.6, December 20th, 2012. They were referenced by Dinerbo on Twitter, though he also hinted that the skis were just a joke addition. To quote, "They attach to a raw fish, aka red herring." Early mob designs. Throughout Minecraft's history, the developers showed several prototypes of mobs that were not used. Pillagers were supposed to look like pirates, Ravagers had longer legs and blank stare, Beasts were supposed to be perfectly small, Phantoms were supposed to be red instead of blue. The biggest change was the Striders, they had a completely different look. Also, the Drowned were originally pink, and the Wandering Trader had emeralds in his head, and he also wore a head. Alex's glasses. When Alex was first added to the game in version 1.8, the second layer of the skin had glasses on Alex's face. This is reference to Jeb. By the way, he was the one Alex was copied from. Dungeons and Levers is the former name of the game's adventure mod, which Notch announced back during the game's alpha as mod that would be able after the game's release. Unlike the adventure mode we have today, Notch hinted that this one would have 4 players and feature permanent death, much like hardcore. It's not hard to guess that Notch wanted to add a roguelike game mode and a quest system with randomly generated maps, but apparently it wasn't meant to be. Steve is a god. How does Steve manage to carry so much stuff in his inventory without losing speed? How he can jump a full meter without effort and run almost twice as fast as normal person, as if it were nothing? Why is he the only one of his kind in this world? How he can go from absolute nothingness to killing a cosmic being in the vacuum of space in just a few days? All of this proves that Steve is a god. Honestly, you can barely see anything anymore. The lights hardly get in here and it's too creepy. Layer 6 is waiting for us. Rescue Gus from the Nether is the original phrase from the Uneasy Alliance achievement description. If you translate literally "rescue Gus from Nether", bring him to safety in the overworld and kill him. The wording quite strange. From this we can assume that Gus don't belong in Nether, they are hostage of this dimension. Legend of the Chambered is a retro-style first-person RPG created by Notch sometime before May 27th, 2008 and inspired by games like Dungeon Master and Eye of the Beholder. The old texture of the leather armor, as well as the texture of the apple, iron sword and quiver were taken from that game. There is also a prelude of the Chambered which Notch created in 48 hours for the Ludum Dare 21 contest in August 2011. Flower Forest Gradient. Each block in the Flower Forest can only contain a certain type of flower if they grow with bone meal. Oddly enough, they do not match the flower template that is created when the world is generated. The bone meal pattern seems to replicate Perlin Noise, a popular random noise generator for creating realistic terrain, although Minecraft uses fractal noise for its worlds. Since version 1.18, this gradient was changed a lot. Debug.png is the one of 2 textures added in Java 1.9. Debug.png shows a rainbow gradient with a grid of black dots, while the other texture, called Debug2.png, shows the characters N, M, 3 and S on red, green, blue and yellow gradients respectively. These textures were used primarily for debugging, as their name suggests. For example, in some 1.13 snapshots, Debug.png was used as a dust particle texture for bubble columns. If you fall on the edge of a block next to a bubble column or push that column with a piston, you can see the Debug.png texture as the particles. Hollow World. Despite the overworld being 8 times larger than Earth, based on the size of the natural world's borders, the Minecraft player does not experience a force of 8 units of gravitational force. In fact, gravity is arguably less here than on Earth, which explains how Steve can casually jump onto meter-high blocks and run without tiring. The reason for the reduced gravity is likely because most of the world is actually hollow. The Earth's crust is 35 km thick and the distance to the center of the Earth is 6,371 kilometers, but the distance from the sea level in Minecraft to bedrock is only 62 meters. The void may not actually be bottomless pit, but a large expanse of darkness at the center of a massive artificial planet. Triple chests. In beta 1.1_02, a patch was created to fix a purely visual bug of connecting chests in InDev. However, this had an unintended side effect of making it possible to create functional triple chests, as well as quadruple and quintuple chests. If you place another chest vertically next to an existing double chest, chest, thus creating an L shape, or place a chest connected to a double chest by placing it inside a water source block. The chest in the middle will have a corrupted GUI, but fully functional extended storage. This process can be repeated 2 more times to create a cross shape of 5 chests, with the middle chest having 5 times more storage than a normal single chest. However, the size of GUI makes it impossible to transfer items from inventory to this chest. Zombie Town is an old game from Notch, created around October 30th, 2009. It was intended as a sequel to Left's 4K Dead, a game Notch made from the Java 4K 2009 contest, which incidentally won. The only footage from the game shows people, later recast as Steve, frolicking in empty field. The zombie in Minecraft probably came from this game too. Minecraft 4D is an April Fool's Day video that Notch had planned to release in 2010, but couldn't due to a move to a new house. What was supposed to be in this video? It remains a mystery. Oceans and mountains as structures. When oceans and mountains first appeared, they were seen as structures that separated other real biomes when needed. They only became real biomes in Beta 1.8 pre-release, September 9th, 2011. Pumpkin contains souls. There is a theory that snow and iron golems come to life after pumpkin is placed on their head because they are endowed with souls, or at least soul energy. Prior to version 1.13, all naturally generated pumpkins had faces carved on them, which may suggest that they are more than just regular pumpkins. Enderman green eyes. Enderman originally had green eyes when they were first added to the game during Beta 1.8 pre-release, September 9th, 2011. However, 3 days later, in the Beta 1.8 pre-release 2, their eye color was changed from green to purple. But here's the interesting thing. If you look through the Enderman's perspective, the green color looks like purple and the purple looks like green. SCP-4335 is an article about an anomalous entity that was discovered in the Minecraft world a week after the first alpha was released. It is completely black, with tails sticking out of its back. SCP-4335 has a few abnormal properties, but otherwise behaves like an in-game entity. SCP-4335 is a multisensory perception hazard of the Virgin class. Viewing the entity without defense measures causes audible and visual hallucinations. In addition, SCP-4335 is able to telepathically communicate with people whose game characters are nearby, as well as hear entities in the physical world, though still inside the video game. Mines ignore ores. Despite the fact that the primary purpose of a mine is to extract minerals, they all seem to completely ignore the ores around them. This suggests that these tunnels were not created to gather resources. Perhaps they were used to transportation or to quickly hide from an unknown danger on the surface. Steve and villagers hybrid. After villagers were added, a texture file could be found that seems to combine Steve's skin with the villager's body. It was removed in version 1.5. Surge's QR codes. A series of version 1.9 teaser screenshots from Search contained 5 hidden QR code snippets hidden through the image. If you put them together, they showed a code that would send everyone to Steam to the Indie Game The Movie page, a documentary about the development of various indie games. Ghost blocks. In several versions of Minecraft up to Java 1.13, certain redstone builds that include slime blocks allow for the infinite creation of glitchy ghost blocks that were only accessible on the client side. These blocks instantly break, drop nothing, and are considered non-existent on the server, but are visible and can even be moved by player until they restart the game. This allowed for interesting mob protected bridges until this was fixed, though it briefly returned in version 1.15-1.16 with honey blocks and 1.17 with powdered snow. Human mobs, Steve's version of which could be summoned, existed from pre-classic to classic. They were referred to as monsters in the code. They waved their arms awkwardly when walking. In later versions, they gained the ability to attack the player. Block 36, also known as piston extension, and moving piston in version 1.13 and onward. This block is a side effect of storing moving blocks as tile entities rather than regular entities. It can be obtained with commons and can be placed, resulting in strange effects. When placed next to another block in the world, it appears pure black, but otherwise it is completely transparent and not subjected to collisions, although it slightly reduces the light level of lighting passing through it. The block is also not destroyed by left-clicking, but can be removed with a simple right-click. 10 to the C is a new game being developed by Notch and Mojang. In 2012-2013, that was supposed to be some sort of space commerce simulator. 10 to the C stands for the hexadecimal number equal to 16 to the power of 12 in decimal, which is how many years have passed since 1988 in the game's story. Development of the game was suspended and cancelled the year after development began. Notch though recently tweeted the following: "Hey Microsoft, do you remember if I can use the name 10 to the C or do you own it too?" Notch is likely planning to develop the game further. Vex Lost Souls. Vex, wind creatures spawned by Ewokers, may actually be souls trapped and forced to fight against their will. While summoning a mob usually simply means creating it out of thin air. Evoke meaning to summon. In the context of paranormal phenomena, means to call upon a spirit deity, suggesting that Vex already existed before they were summoned. While it could be argued that the Vex are part of some sort of demonic army, derived from treaty, another likely explanation could be that they are the souls of villagers killed in raids. Unused gas screams. Gas have a sound called affectionate scream that was added in 1.1 version but never used. The sound is much higher pitched than the other screams. Wandering traders are nitwit villagers. The wandering trader's undershirt is green, like the shirt of a nitwit villager. It is likely that some such villagers have left their villages to find their true calling, selling exotic goods from rare places. Their inept dealings may be the result of laziness or lower than average intelligence. It is also possible that they are just crooks, but nitwit villagers isn't smart enough to even attempt something like that. Obsidian walls. A two-block high obsidian structure that appeared along the X and Z axis during InfDev. It only existed from February 27th to March 13th, 2010. A brick pyramid can also be found in this version. Mechanical ghasts. According to the image in the official mobs theory, ghasts have an internal mechanism that allows them to shoot fireballs. By the way, very interesting book, I advise you to read it. Entity Dahenin. These are mysterious sound events that were added in 15W49A snapshot, but were removed in 50W49B. The most likely answer is that the Entity Dahenin was the original name for the sounds that leashes made when placed and removed. Metal ores drop metal blocks. When iron and gold ores were added in version 0.26 survival test, October 24, 2009, they originally dropped from 1 to 3 iron or gold blocks respectively, as actual ingots of gold and iron had not yet been implemented by then. In addition, from 1 to 3 stone slabs fell from coal ore. Brown spiders. While the spiders were in development for release in version 0.26 of survival test, they originally had a brown texture rather than the black texture they have now. The texture change from brown to black occurred about 28 minutes before the version was released, thanks to a suggestion by user Zion on the TIG source forums. Bedrock debugging builds. In the Windows 10 and 11 edition of the game, there is a UVP debug builds with lots of technical shorts and F3 mapping. Although the builds are often kept secret, they are usually provided to marketplace kit developers for content testing. Enchantment table is a futuristic technology. The text for the enchantment table is a standard galactic alphabet, suggesting that is some sort of futuristic technology provided by intelligent species that disappeared a long time ago. Early creeper behavior. When creepers first appeared in Java Edition Classic, September 1st, 2009, they would just randomly jump around until they noticed the player. Then they would run up and deal 4 hearts of damage on contact. They didn't explode until they were killed. It wasn't until the in-depth version, February 4th, 2010, that their behavior was changed to the word we know today. White Enderman. The concept of White Enderman gained popularity thanks to a spooky creepypasta about how the Enderman with inverted colors chased the player, avoiding his death in absurd ways, including him moving through water without taking damage. He eventually destroyed the player, but the game didn't allow him to be respawned, though it wasn't hardcore. Of course, this is all fairy tales, but the appearance of such an Enderman is possible. Sometimes, due to texture pack issues, an Enderman can appear with completely white skin, albeit with the usual purple eyes. Warped Forest Help sounds. Some ambient sounds in the Warped Forest biome are named Warped Forest Help and Warped Forest Here. By turning them on, you can hear creepy sounds of Enderman. They are probably trying to inform the player of something important, similar to what they already do with their backward speech. There is also an unused sound called Warped Forest Mood 9. I think you can hear slowed down laughter in it. Old Ruth is an RG started on the Minecraft subreddit in 2014 that hasn't been resolved to this day. In Retro Gaming Now video on the Old Ruth mystery, Alex Bay revealed that he is the original creator of this RG. That's it. There is no further to go. We've approached the penultimate, 7th layer. What awaits us here? I have no idea. Let's explore. Old Dragon Respawn Method. In Snapshot 15W31A version 1.9, before the official way of resummoning Ender's Dragon was added by placing 4 end crystals, the dragon could be resummoned by making creeper face out of clay along the north-south axis. Radiation in basalt deltas. In this nether biome you can hear clicking sounds that sound a lot like Geiger counter. These sounds could mean that the biome is radioactive. Also, the ash particles found in the biome may be kind of radioactive fallout rather than volcanic ash, or it may be a mix of both. Calm 4 is an upbeat synthesizer tune that was added in Alpha version 1.1.1, but removed in Alpha 1.1.2. At about 1 minute and 36 seconds, you can hear Notch saying Mojang specification, but at a reduced speed.
Mojang specification.
Mojang specification was the former full name of Mojang from 2009 to 2010. Shared bedrock pattern. In Java Edition, the bedrock bottom pattern in the overworld dimension was the same in every world regardless of seed, although in Bedrock Edition a similar pattern was only present in the nether dimension. With this kind of bug, it was possible to calculate the coordinates of the player, if he saw the blocks of course. Since version 1.18, the formation of the bedrock layer pattern now depends only on the world seed. Emerald disease. The theory that the illagers and pillagers appeared because they become so greedy for emeralds that they preferred to kill each other, wiping their minds and souls in the process. Island of Death. When creating a world with map type floating and map shape deep, you will be spawned in the air and die after hitting the ground because the generator can find a suitable place to create you starting in the house. This same bug seems to happen with maps like Island and Inland as well. Grey Creeper prototypes. An image of early Creeper prototypes, the result of a bug that caused the peak model to have a higher body than length, was published by Notch on August 31st, 2009. The texture of the models looks like unsaturated clay or sand, or perhaps it's an entirely new texture. Bird screaming is a sound loop that was added to the Minecraft Classic version May 28, 2009. It was intended to be played when the player was in the forest. Although birds often chirp in forests in real life, there were no birds except chickens in Minecraft until parrots were added to the game in update 1.12. Air.ogg is a special sound that was created by a developer under the nickname Poke. Using SSTV to convert the sound into image, we can see the following. This is a code phrase that will take the player to the 33rd hidden dimension in the Infinite update. It sounds like this is a very long phrase that hopefully is not in any dictionary. In this dimension is a secret message written on blocks of grass containing the phrase "All these worlds are yours except Europa. Use them together. Use them in peace. Europe and the moon are sold separately." This is reference to the alien message from Arthur C. Clarke's novel 2010 Odyssey 2. A petrified oak slab is a unique type of slab. Unlike all other slabs, they are not available in normal survival mode and can only be obtained through commons. Petrified oak slab makes sounds characteristic of stone. A pickaxe is required to mine them. If you break them without a pickaxe, they will not drop off. They do not ignite or burn from nearby lava. They cannot be used as fuel in a furnace. They are highly resistant to explosions. Note blocks placed on top make bass drum sounds like other stone-like blocks. Guardian's intelligent conduits. To begin with, the heart of the sea is not literally a heart, but an eye. Its item texture depicts closed eyelids, and his conduit power effect icon depicts an open version of an eyeball with a red pupil. To activate the conduit, it must be surrounded by blocks of prismarine. Who are the Guardians? A mob with a single red eye in a structure made of prismarine blocks. In addition, Guardians do not suffocate without water, which may hint that they are air-breathing creatures with some form of water breathing, an effect provided by the conduit power. Bonus chest duplication glitch. In early console edition of Minecraft, around 2013-2014, the bonus chest generated at the start of the world, if enabled, could be duplicated infinitely by simply breaking the chest, exiting out of and back into the world again, where it would regenerate once more. Steve suffers from amnesia, a theory based on assumption that crafting and achievement recipes are canonical information and are actually Steve's own thoughts. At some point during some apocalyptic event that caused nearly all of humanity to be wiped off the face of the planet, Steve suffers from amnesia, and over the course of the game, specific events cause him to strain his memory and recall more of the survival skills he had before. One notable example is that by simply diving into the water, Steve unlocks a recipe for making boats, even though the player hasn't actually collected wood yet. Dead Star. While there have been post-apocalyptic theories in the past, this one claims that the world of Minecraft doesn't actually exist on the Earth at all. The action takes the place far in the future, where the sun has reached its entropic death and humans have decided to create their own artificial sun, turning the Earth into a heat source, and civilization has moved to the cold remains of the dead sun to start anew. The artificial planet may explain why there are still plenty of resources in the Minecraft world, and why there is only a few meters of soil above the layer of stone. It also explains the strange movement of celestial bodies in the night sky. The moon and the sun always move in a circle exactly opposite each other, and all the stars rotate around the Earth at the same speed. The old smelting method. Smelting was implemented in Intel dev 0.31 on January 29, 2010, but furnace were not added until February 19, 2010. In between, items such as ores could be smelted by throwing them into fire or lava. Coal, iron, gold, and diamond ores could be smelted in quantities of 1 to 3 pieces of their respective material. 1K in 24 hours edition. For Java Edition Alpha version 1.0.13_01, the Minecraft logo on the menu screen has been changed to 1 in 24 hours to celebrate 1000 sales in last 24 hours. Redstone alternative. Before redstone was introduced in Minecraft Pocket Edition, players found ways to create sort of redstone signals using their existing blocks, most commonly sand blocks and cacti. This is due to the mechanic that causes a cactus to fall off if it is near another block at any time. By placing a series of signs on top of the cacti and then placing sand blocks on top of the signs, it was possible to make sand blocks fall off on demand by placing a block next to a cactus. This basic design would come in handy for creating fallen sand doors, as well as having the sand blocks trigger another cactus signal, creating a chain. Wither is imperfect. The current wither can be created with just a few sand blocks of souls and 3 wither skeleton skulls. That's really not much to summon what is apparently an incredibly powerful being, not to mention the fact that the wither is just a floating torso without any limbs. Steve doesn't know how to properly summon the perfect wither and focuses on what he depicts in the painting. Although no canon, in the first season of Minecraft Story Mode, the main antagonist was Wither Storm, a much stronger version of Wither. He could be summoned with the soul sand and a common block. Crater in the MCPE. Before Pocket Edition had caves, a seed called Porsche created an incredibly deep crater with lava waterfall and lake at the bottom. It looks very beautiful and unusual. Glass towers for debugging strongholds. To check the location of generated portal rooms in Fortress, JP used a pair of glass towers that rise to their full height, one marking the entrance to the fortress and the other marking the location of the portal room itself. When Java Beta 1.9 pre-release 3 was released on October 9, 2011, Jeff forgot to remove these debug towers and they remained in the game. They were removed on October 13, 2011. Pillagers created an armed piglins. This theory may also explain why normal pigs turn into zombifying piglins when exposed to lightning. Both pillagers and piglins have crossbows. The illagers may have experimented on pigs and figured out that they could be used to make humanoid monsters. Realizing that zombifying pigs don't make good servants, they were likely banished to Nether. Mandatory telemetry. In version 1.18, data collection with Microsoft Snooper has been reinstated after 3 years shutdown. With no opt-out option, this appears to violate several European Union rights under GDPR regarding data privacy and security, which is in stark contrast to its initial opt-out in version 1.13 and beyond to comply with these same GDPR requirements. The only thing a player can do is to choose how much telemetry data to send, minimum or maximum. Nuclear testing on Mushroom Island. Mushroom Islands stand out strongly in terms of overworld biomes. They grow mycelium that can be found anywhere else, as well as mutated mushroom cows. In addition, no hostile mobs appear there, giving it a peaceful yet desolated appearance. Since these biomes are almost always exclusively islands, it is likely that these places were used by earlier civilization to test nuclear weapons away from the mainland, and the radiation caused the remaining species to die out and mutate. Thus, the mushroom theme of the island may be symbolically linked to the mushroom clouds produced by nuclear explosions. Invisible fire in MCPE. When fire was first added to the Minecraft Pocket Edition, it was completely invisible except for the smoke particles it produced. It also had an absurdly high fire spread and had the ability to burn non-consumable blocks such as dirt and stone. Minecraft Edu. Not to be confused with the Education Edition. This was an educational version of Minecraft developed by Teacher Gaming, November 5, 2011. Teacher Gaming played a big part in this, as well as a few blocks that limited the students' ability to build, place, move around, etc. Minecraft Edu was purchased by Mojang around January 19, 2016, and subsequently disconnected on April 5, 2016 due to the development of its own educational edition. Piglins use destroyed portals and become zombified. The piglins in the Nether could create their own obsidian portals to explore the overworld, but found that they were starting to rot in it. The zombified piglins then returned to their homeworld, destroying the portals on the other side. Where the piglins got the obsidian from, though, it's another question. Golden Oak, a rare bug in a Pocket Edition, because of which the spruce tree on the edge of the snowy biome take the shape of an oak tree. Of course, this bug was fixed a long time ago, but it still looks very funny. The Nautilus theory is a fascinating, albeit somewhat strange, theory that complements the concept of Nautilus extinction, suggesting that over time they quickly evolved out of their magical shells to avoid being hunted, and instead took up their ecological niches. Some increased their strength and began to gather near abandoned buildings, ocean monuments, creating a hierarchy and eventually evolving into guardians. endermites. Others sheltered in water caves, evolving to need less and less water as they relied more and more on rocky minerals and moss, becoming silverfish. Nautilus silverfish, who inhabit underground strongholds with activated portals, fell through the other side, becoming corrupted endermites. With the ender dragon now an endangered species, some population of endermites have evolved to fill the empty ecological niche once occupied by dragons, and have evolved into flying phantoms. Capable of teleportation, they evolve endermites jumping between dimensions every chance they got, though this meant they were constantly trapped in certain dimensions. Those stuck in another eventually become striders, living in lava pools as a side effect of originating from aquatic creatures, while phantoms were among those who mostly settle in the overworld. I told you it was pretty bonkers, but interesting. Afrikaans insult. Around January 27, 2012, players were surprised with this phrase when switching to Afrikaans, instead of the single player button on the title screen. Mojang soon apologized, explaining that the Joker had abused crowding. This is a crowdsourced translation tool that it used in the Java game. Blocked Notch videos. Notch created a technical test for Cave Game on May 13, 2009, but it is blocked in most countries for unknown reasons. He did this intentionally. The other videos on his channel, Nizoch, seems to have been subjected to blocking as well, but on YouTube there is an archive of his recordings on another channel. It's not still clear why Marcus did such an act. Now we reach the last layer of this iceberg. The 8th layer contains the most mysterious and strange things. Be prepared to flow to the surface at the end. Ghasts are fusions of souls. Given that ghasts are ghost mob, bearing the theory that ghasts are mechanical beings, you might wonder what mobs once existed to become large enough to turn into ghasts upon death, yet not exist in living form. One theory that ghasts are not actually based on one individual mob, but are simply an amalgamation of souls from when soul sand blocks become too crowded. This explains why ghasts are more likely to spawn in the soul sand valleys, where sand and soil souls are much more prevalent. It also goes some way to explaining the depressed nature of casts and clarifies the Uneasy Aliens achievement description, as they don't really belong in Nether. Why pumpkins from the Soul Sand Valley? When the Nether updates first came out, there were rumors that the soul soil could be cultivated, growing a new crop called white pumpkins, in tribute to the Minecraft story mode. The ancient debris came from a reactor explosion, a theory that states that instead of ancient tree debris, which we talk about in last layer, the debris is actually metal debris from the explosion of a huge reactor that subsequently spawned in Nether dimension, similar to the core reactor from earlier version of Pocket Edition, but on a much larger scale. If this reactor was working with the nuclear materials, they would also explain the potential radioactive emissions of the basalt delta biome. Beacons release souls. Making beacons requires a nether star, which can be found inside Wither. The nether stars themselves are strange things to drop out of this boss, though it's more logical to assume that these stars are simply the concentrated essence of all the soul that made up Wither. By creating the appropriate structure, you can shatter the star into pieces and free the souls, sending them to the afterlife as one large column of light. Beacon effects are the final thank you to those the player has saved, a blessing in return for an unusual good action. 1 RV data collection. A rumor for the April Fool's Day trending update stated that many of the features from the update, especially the tracker, were experimental ways to test the collection of player data. There was even much such information, but players couldn't see it because of the game encrypted code. That hypothesis is too much of a stretch, especially since it's only rumor. Steve in a coma. Several moments in Minecraft may indicate that Steve is indeed in the coma throughout the game. For example, most of the undead mobs in the game have Steve's face. He also doesn't dream when he falls asleep, probably because he himself is already in coma. The strongest evidence, however, is the end poem, in addition to the comparing life as a long dream to the game's short sleep. The last line commands the player to wake up. The dimension in Minecraft can also represent different stages of the subconscious mind. The overworld is the surface subconscious, where the imagination thrives and memories are kept in order. It represents the present. Nether, on the other hand, represents the traumas and regards of our past. It symbolizes the chaotic part of our subconscious mind where our fears, instincts, motivations and drives reside. The last dimension, the end, is the most native and unconscious part of our mind. It represents the future. The summoning and slaying of the Ender Dragon, the final final conflict allows Steve to accept the past and move on. The dragon leaves an egg, a symbol of creation and rebirth, of getting a new chance at life. Mob spawners, a theory that attempts to explain the origin of mob spawners. It claims that there used to be a race of beings who were experts in magic. In their quest for immortality, they bound their souls to machines locked in dungeons in the hope that those machines would restore their bodies when they become old and infirm. Of course, as they age, their souls decayed more and more, and their new bodies decayed as well, unable to stop the machines. Those who had bound their souls fell into an internal and agonized cycle of decay, leading to the zombies and skeletons we find in new mob spawners today. Mojang has created a home for Herobrine, a theory that the secret entity known as Herobrine has existed in the other forms for much longer than Minecraft has existed, and that the game itself is just a way to keep Herobrine in one place. Every major update spells out removed Herobrine, to make it look like it's all just a joke that the developers took for granted, to calm the public's nerves. Every update satiates the beast, but one day it will go hungry. Steve's Feelings is a strange and somewhat disturbing story posted on the Minecraft forum by user Nate86711, November 23rd, 2011. It existed long enough for someone to take screenshots, but was likely deleted shortly thereafter due to its content. In brief, it's a creepypasta that tells us ultra-realistic situation where Steve, due to his inability to walk after he tried to hit a tree with his bare hands, he started to be devoured by a zombie. Everything is painted in great detail, and at the end Steve himself turns into a zombie. Don't look at the moon. It's not really about not looking at the moon. Rumor has it that Minecraft has a code that checks whether or not you're looking at the moon, and experiments have been conducted to test it, some of which have had disastrous consequences: shadow entities, burning, world shattering. This is actually an RG from user called Legend Finder, in which he puts it all to the test. At one point, all sorts of weird things start happening after he's been looking at the moon for a long time. Our iceberg has come to an end. There is only darkness and emptiness below, from which I can highlight a few more things. Bonus layer especially for you. Temple of Notch is an incredibly popular early map published on Planet Minecraft, September 6, 2011. The map requires you to place an offering in the Well of Destiny, so that the giant rock that looks like Notch's head will either wink and grant you riches or cry and throw you to your death. Deadmau5 ears. Around December 2010, Deadmau5 announced that he was going to play Minecraft and even created his own server, mouseville.com. On September 21st, Notch created an exclusive skin for Deadmau5 with ears sticking out of his head. As a result, no other players can create such a skin for Minecraft. Uncensored Library, a server-based project of Reporters Without Borders, first published on March 12, 2020, designed to preserve and shed light on censored articles by journalists around the world. Pandas have the tendency to roll off the edge, no matter how high up they are. That is, when they are playing, they can spin around and just fall off a cliff. Steven Smash. There is a game called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Nintendo Switch, in which characters from Minecraft were added as fighters, even added Minecraft worlds as battle arenas. Notch Head in TF2. The top-notch head was added to the Team Fortress 2 as a tribute to Minecraft, November 23rd, 2011. They are Minecraft Easter eggs in other games as well, such as a notched pickaxe in Skyrim or an entirely blocky mineshaft containing creepers in Borderlands 2. Minecraft reference in the Stanley Parable. One of the Stanley Parable's meta-narrative roads referenced Minecraft, which the game's narrator disapproves of due to his desire to have a linear path in the narrative, whereas Minecraft is open world and has no real narrative in the first place. The ultra deluxe version of the Stanley Parable reduces this reference to a simple photo in memory zone. The reason it became unplayable is likely due to license issues with Mojang or desire to include more modern games. Blocks in Ant Feel Pain. In Minecraft video The Ant, 10 things you probably didn't know about Minecraft, it was revealed that all blocks in Ant can feel pain when mining. Minecraft Theology is a series of videos by Jeremy Smith on YouTube channel Charge Mag, in which he both plays Minecraft and explains Christian ideology. His most popular video has garnered about 1000 views, though there was a USA Today article about the series in 2018. Vatican Minecraft server. In early December 2019, Robert Balazar, aka Padre SG or Digital Jesuit, launched Minecraft server at the Vatican with the goal of creating a toxic free community. Not long after launching, the server was subjected to griefing, DDoS attacks and more. Padres G revealed that it was just a test world to see which IP addresses would be responsible for potential attacks. On December 4, 2019, the official Vatican Minecraft server was launched, Peta Minecraft Server. On November 15, 2014, the Peta organization launched its own Minecraft server, with the main concept being the prohibition of harming animals in the world. Among the places where a player could visit were vegetable and flower gardens, recreated Peta headquarters, an abandoned slaughterhouse, and an old circus. Hound Muskie is one of the songs created by C418 that plays while flying, either in creative mode or with the help of Elytras. The song uses the KF02.OGG sound as a backing track. In addition, the title of the song is an anagram of Hatsune Miku's name. Unofficial update 20W14, a community-made April Fool's 2020 update by members of the Minecraft Commons Discord server. I made a separate video about it, it's already on the channel, you can watch it. Minecraftforfree.com, a site that hosted Minecraft for free from 2011 to 2012. The site was created by a user named Dylan, who later became a member of Team Evolution, an infamous team of griefers. After Notch emailed the ban notice in 2012, Dylan and Stormsurge, another member of Team Evolution, decided to savor the moment as best they could and challenge Notch to a game of Quake 3 Arena, a reference to how Notch had issued the exact same challenge to Bethesda during the Scrolls and Elder Scrolls lawsuit. Team Evolution lost the match, and as condition they decided to make a dubstep song in Notch honor, whereas if they won they would potentially get their own capes, and shut down the Minecraft for free website, though it was going to happen no matter what. Infinite Fire Spread. Prior to May 25, 2011 release of Beta 1.6 Test Build 3, fire could spread to nearby flammable blocks indefinitely. This led to Infinite Fire Spread, where a single fire source could burn entire forests. This problem was fixed, but it reappeared in August 2012 and later in several snapshots before version 1.13. That's officially the end of our Iceberg. That's quite a story. Special thanks to the author Probot748, he created this iceberg, so I left the link to his post on Reddit in the description. While you're waiting for the new video to come out, check out of these ones, they're very interesting too. I hope I deserve a like and you can subscribe to the channel. You can also click on the bell to not miss the release of new video. We'll hear from you again, because we discovered Minecraft in a new way.